A joke you tell can bomb. That's bad. Even your favorite comedian can bomb. That's worse. And then, of course, there's graffiti bombing, which is either vandalism or self-expression, depending on who you ask. But review bombing video games is all those and more. If you pay good money for a bad product, of course you have the right to be angry. Because complaining about an unfair transaction is an attempt to address something we consider wrong. And human beings have been doing this for a long time. The earliest known written complaint was in cuneiform, on a clay tablet, centuries upon centuries ago, in the ancient city of Ur. Now, there's no record if the complaint's author Nani, a merchant who had not received the copper he had paid for, was successful, probably because he lost his ticket number. But from then until now, humans have had no difficulty expressing everything from annoyance to outrage, whether they feel cheated by a copper dealer or a video game. When the video game industry was entering its awkward teenage years, the only direct links between players and the producers of their games were online forums. Places curated by companies who made the games, and who could shut down complete threads if player opinions grew too heated. Plus, unless you were involved with that community, there was a good chance you would never even hear about an uproar. Fast forward to 2008, and a game called Spore, where you got to create goofy-looking creatures and then set them loose on an unsuspecting virtual universe. The game's publisher, Electronic Arts, everyone's favorite, included a special gift with the game, Surprise DRM, which limited buyers of the game to only being able to install it 3 times. That's right, kids! Copyright protection as a blunt instrument. Amazon user ratings for the title fell faster than a spore creature on its wobbly, disproportionate legs. At the time, the website Ars Technica dubbed this practice of expressing displeasure with a video game, developer, or any product through the spamming of review aggregate websites with negative reviews, review bombing. Now fast forward even further to today, and we have review aggregates like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes, distribution platforms with comments and reviews like Steam and itch.io, online publications like Kotaku and Polygon, and thousands of other forums all over the internet not directly controlled by a publisher. So it's pretty clear a company can no longer control its audience, though many still try by adopting new ways to deal with review bombing. For example, Valve software will flag an unusually high volume of game reviews within a certain amount of time. Then, the suspect reviews are investigated by humans, or at the very least GLaDOS pretending to be one. And then, if said reviews are deemed malicious, Valve subtracts the ratings from those reviews from the game's overall rating score. Now, deleting the actual written review is left up to the developer, though most times, they don't mind hitting that delete button themselves. Now, we've seen review bombings for many titles for a variety of reasons. Mass Effect 3's ending, Skyrim's attempt at paid mods, GTA 5 for blocking customer mods, Star Wars Battlefront 2 for, what was it again? Loot boxes, excuse me. Death Stranding because Kojima is friends with the Game Awards guy, I don't really know on that one. And then, of course, the most recent orc in the room, Warcraft 3 Reforged, which was bombed for a string of legitimate gripes, such as the game shipping without promised features, multiple tech issues, a new hyper-restrictive updated EULA, and subpar graphics from those that were shown at BlizzCon. So yeah, maybe that one could have used more work? Thank you, I'll be here all week. Try the mana buns. We've also seen the darker side of review bombing, where it's been used as a tool to bully or incite, and it's those instances that muddy the waters a little bit, weakening the position of legitimate complaints everywhere. Such as when reviews of Firewatch were bombed after its developer went after PewDiePie for using a racial slur. And sometimes, we've even seen positive review bombing artificially raising a game's score. Back in 2019, Ubisoft gave away copies of Assassin's Creed Unity for free in the week following the disastrous Notre Dame Cathedral fire, so players could experience their beautiful recreation of the cathedral in the game. This review bombing for the game and the company was overwhelmingly positive, and that's something that both developers and players of games can be proud of. Though, just looking at it on the flip side for a second, artificially raising a game's rating outside of charitable action could be a double-edged sword, as it could lead gamers not in the know to possibly buying something different than was advertised. All that's to say, legitimate criticisms deserve to be heard. And when those in power won't listen, we humans have a proud history of protest, of striking for better wages or working conditions, of standing up, sitting down, or kneeling for what we believe is right. And for players who want to be heard, review bombing has become a popular and sometimes effective weapon, as it sends a very loud message. But if we want our loud voices to be actually listened to by companies, then we should never resort to flaming, insults, or veiled threats in an offbeat attempt at humor. Because there's another name for that: bullying. And that's never okay. Because more often than not, it isn't the loudest or snarkiest voices that developers respond to. It's the most persuasive. Giving a game a rank of 0 with no other context simply says, I haven't taken the time to write a specific complaint, so please don't waste your time in paying attention to it. Instead, if you clearly and directly explain the issue you have, it's far more likely to receive attention. And now to the publishers. Oh, no, you weren't getting off the hook. How about not trying to sell your customers on products you know have issues? Your players aren't dumb. They can spot the little mistakes cowering behind the curtain. And relying on metrics to simply make their responses disappear says, we won't take the time to respond to your complaint, so don't waste your time in actually writing one that's thoughtfully written. Also, please don't ignore legitimate complaints in hopes that the news cycle will move past them. Because sure, distracting us with a new game or press release might work a few times, but eventually, all the goodwill you've built up from previous games is gonna run out, and your players will move on to games and companies who respect them and their time more. So if we're trying to say anything at all, it's this. People deserve to have their legitimate complaints heard, but we also need to consider how we choose to voice them to best get our message across. And it may not always be easy to keep our indignation in check. Believe me, I know. But in the end, the extra effort we all put in will benefit everybody. Oh, sorry, Zoe. Of course, no more signs. But is there anything else you want to add? Okay, bud, I hear you loud and clear. Legendary thanks to Ahmed Ziad Turk, Casey Musja, Dominic Valenciana, Gunnar Clovis, Kyle Murgatroyd, and O'Reels1.